Welcome. My name is Brandon. Please join me on this tour of the Market Street Mall in Marshall, Minnesota. Marshall, Minnesota is the largest town in southwestern Minnesota with a population of over 13,000 residents. The closest major city is Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is 90 miles to the southwest. Marshall is most famous for Schwann's, the company with the little yellow trucks you may see driving around your neighborhood. If you are driving to Marshall from Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's quite a slog at 150 miles with not much in between. I'd recommend Minnesota Dead Mall fans looking to check out this mall, add Redwood Falls to your GPS just for a break. Sorry, no dead malls in Redwood Falls, just a place to get out for a break. It's better than risking one of those small town gas stations where some jerk locks himself in the bathroom for 5 to 10 minutes and then tells you it's occupied. Yeah, may have happened to me on the way. Getting back to the mall, it opened in 1976 as Marshall Square Mall, and it still looks like 1976 inside, but not in a cool retro way, but as a decaying husk of its former self. There were only 2 remaining retail tenants, Maurices and Gliks. And by the way, I've now filmed all 3 of the Gliks in Minnesota. The other 2 are in Viking Plaza in Alexandria and Uptown Wilmer in Wilmer, Minnesota. I've not been able to verify the original anchors, but based on the layout, there appear to have been 3 major anchors. Half of the western anchor now contains the SWWC Service Cooperative, while the other half once contained Affiliated Community Medical Center Multi-Specialty Health Network. Oof, that's a mouthful. It now sits abandoned. The large southern anchor is also abandoned. At one time, it was the Marshall East Campus Learning Alternatives location. Another mouthful. In a 2015 YouTube video of the mall, this large space was already empty. The eastern anchor is now a collection of offices called the Market Street Office Complex. It's only accessible from inside the mall through a simple secured doorway. The images you see in the glass are from the former Hy-Vee pharmacy. Man, I wish I had a proper flashlight. This hallway was dark. And I don't carry a flashlight because, while I love watching urbex, I'm just not interested in doing it myself. I'm happy with how bright my footage turned out. It does make everything easy to see, but I do sound a little foolish telling you how creeped out I was in the corners of this mall. If I were into doing urbex myself, I definitely want to explore the Hotel Marshall, although people have joked that even if I got in, I'd fall through a hole in the floor. The abandoned Sears location started as Bostwick's, which is part of the Saucon and Linoff chain. I'd first come across the S&L chain at a Dollar Tree in Robbinsdale, Minnesota, with an S&L engraved into the sidewalk. The letters are still there today. I cannot say the same for the chain, which grew too big and went out of business in the early 1990s. While Sears left the mall, it was still in business a mile and a half away when I visited March 2021. Professional Nails and Wax, Skews Jewelry, and Hy-Vee Pharmacy have also moved out. Cost Cutters moved into the Walmart of all places. In some towns, Walmart has killed and replaced the local mall, but having the Cost Cutters move into the Walmart itself really drives that point home. One business I found shocking to have left the mall is DaVita Dialysis. I have seen dead mall videos where DaVita stayed until the bitter end, surrounded by the rubble of its former mall. It was odd walking towards the Maurices and Gliks as they are the only places that were playing music. The rest of the place was just completely, eerily silent. This part of the mall didn't smell good, and yeah, I could make a bathroom joke, but it just smelled funky in this area. Other former tenants include Hallmark Gold Crown, Bound to Read Books, City Looks, Foot Locker, Midwest Vision, Claire's, and Christopher and Banks, which I dismissed by a few months. I had a slightly surreal experience in this mall. You know the old, I guess you could call it sexist joke about the wife who shops all day while the poor husband sits with her piles of packages? I ran into something like that at this mall. Seriously, this mall has 2 shops, but I still saw a man sitting alone on a bench while his significant other went shopping. Maybe the poor guy was tired. But if my wife went shopping here and I didn't love dead malls, I would have just been outside, walking around on this beautiful sunny day. And maybe she just told the man to sit, she only needed 20 minutes to hit all the shops. Yeah, whatever, I just kind of funny. And also, as a guy who likes to film dead malls, I try to not film people. So I had to wait patiently, going back a few times before I could film the shops after they had left. One great thing that I noticed on my drive down to Marshall is that the government recently bumped the speed limits on the rural roads to 60 miles per hour. People from Marshall used to warn me about driving over 50 and getting pulled over. I didn't see any police, however, on my sunny Saturday drive. I'd put off driving to this mall due to the distance and what I thought was the lower speed limit. There are no malls between the 98 miles distance of Hutchinson Mall and Market Street Mall. I was so glad to finally get to Market Street. I have been fascinated with dead malls since the mid-2000s, and I've been hooked on dead mall videos since the big names started popping up around 2016 or 17. I'd watch videos of old rural malls in Pennsylvania or Ohio and wish I could see them myself. But I knew it wasn't realistic. Even after filming 20 malls, I'd never felt that I'd yet entered one of those malls until I entered Market Street Mall. It's one of those old malls that once housed national anchors, but have almost nothing left. Other Minnesota towns I've visited have repurposed their malls, but not Marshall. At least, not permanently. The city has been discussing what to do with the mall for years, but in 2016, the city ended an assessment agreement with Marshall Square Shopping Center Limited, as they didn't provide the city with a good enough proposal to convert the enclosed mall into a strip mall with additional retail on the property. One mock-up shows a layout with the office complex intact and the removal of the inner hallway and all shops to the north. Shops south of the hallway would become part of a strip mall. The only retail that would need a new home in 2021 would be Maurice's, but they can live anywhere. Indoor malls, strip malls, and standalone. I agree with people who think the mall is at the end of its life, but I don't see it going away anytime soon. However, that could change at any time. Leaving the mall but staying in town is unfortunately a common theme here. Was the rent too high? Did tenants fear the mall's impending doom? I think a serious problem with the mall is its location. I'd been to Marshall several times in the past and didn't even know of this mall's existence. Do you see it in this clip? Here it is, almost there. There's the entrance. Let's take Busy 23. You think you'd be able to see it off of Busy 23? And that's the turn up. Whoops, we passed it. Here we go. Yeah, by the way, this entrance had no sign. Look at the area above the doorway. Nothing there. But if we stand at a 45-degree angle, we see the label scar of Hy-Vee drug. If we stand straight on again, and I play around the color settings, we can see the scar. Neat. I'm going to leave you shortly to enjoy the rest of this outdoor footage. As I said at the beginning of the video, Market Street Mall was a really long drive, but totally worth it, especially if you love 1970s brick. I hope you enjoyed this tour. Have a good day. Take care.